Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
All right. Apex players, Apex Predator fans, players. It's been a devastating past couple of days for me. I'm devastated. They have removed the ability to tap strafe for controller players. Basically, like, killing damn near all
movement,
Steam input type thing. Not everything, but like this guy will go into. Did you just lick something really loudly? What the fuck was that? Whatever.
I scraped my mic against my plate. I'm sorry.
Anyways, yeah, this guy will basically explain what's happening and some things that, like, I've seen this already. These other two haven't. But they're gonna explain something. He's gonna explain some things that I didn't even realize because, you know, when I hear people say configs, I assume they're talking about people like me, who's just using it strictly for tap strafing, like. But you're gonna find out that there's these like macros or whatever the fuck you call them that allow you to do like 360 wall bounce backflips with one button type shit. Where there's like no skill involved, you're just pressing a button, and it's like it's stacking the configs on top of each other instead of a simple. I'm just gonna bind this to the W key on my keyboard, or to my A or S or D button or my jump button. It's a lot more crazy than that. Even recoil things. So let's play this video from what's his name? What's this guy's name? I love you, YouTube. Jodeci? Is he an R&B singer? Whatever. Here we go. Here's a video from Jodeci called My Thoughts, The Aftermath, Apex Legends, Configs, and Tap Strafing. Here we go.
Alright, so it's been a crazy 24 hours for Apex Legends, with Respawn tweeting last night that they were getting rid of the configurations that were possible on PC. So the dust has settled on all that a little bit now. I've had some conversations throughout the day.
Ooh, he's Canadian,
on Twitter and in the YouTube comments. And I kind of want to just hop into the firing range, shoot around, and let you guys know my thoughts. So without any further ado, we'll get into that right now. All right, so we're in the firing range right now. I have my controller with me. So a few things I want to show off. Okay, I have my controller. I'm not going to move my right analog here, just my movement. I have aim assist. Okay, aim assist exists. It is fairly strong. Okay, the game is helping me to try to hit this dummy because it is harder to aim on a stick than it is on a mouse. It is a less precise input. It is what it is. Is aim assist too strong? It might be. Yes, a lot of people think that it is. I'm not going to say that it's not. It's definitely strong. Okay, but
by the way, wait. I am okay with them nerfing aim assist. I'm okay with that.
That's a double, like, what is it? Double negative. That's fun. That's a double negative, dude. Like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna say it's strong. It's too strong, but it's strong. I mean, come on. You're pretty much saying that you don't agree with that, like the way that his tone is.
I think he's saying it is strong. Like, you can feel it. You can definitely feel aim assist when you're using it. But for me, it's kind of, I could see it being nerfed. So I'm okay with that. It's not, but I don't think it's so overpowered the way some of these dipshits on the internet say. Like, oh my god, aim assist! It's practically aimbot.
Well, hold on, because I have to literally. I'm gonna just say this. Like, I have to slow myself down to even activate it, because like that's the whole thing with controller. Like, the problem that I have with people bitching about it and like saying that they should nerf it is literally you have to take the time to slow yourself down enough to actually make it freaking worthwhile, or else you're just like aiming everywhere. It takes a little bit of skill to do stuff.
Yes, centering requires skill, but good players have already learned all this. Thus, yes, in a really good player's hand, aim assist could probably perceive as like too powerful. Thus, I'm okay with the nerfing of it. I'm
Well,
okay
hold
with that
on.
nerfing.
Like, the problem that I have with the whole competitive versus casual is that there's a gap, right? So like competitive will be like, oh yeah, it's like all this stuff is so hard, and then freaking casual will do the same to competitive, or like they'll have a competitive player enter the game and be like, oh, he's cheating, right? Because there's no intermingling and there's no communication between the two. A lot of games have this. It's a bothersome because a lot of people don't understand the other side. I think most games need to take, or most gamers need to take the time and try to understand where people are coming from.
Fair
Just saying.
enough, but honestly, something like aim assist, as far as like just a casual player, I don't think their aim's good enough to where they actually take advantage of how strong aim assist could be in this game. Thus,
But
if you nerf it a little, they probably won't even really notice that much. Like if their centering's not that great in the first place, they're not going to see the full advantage of being able to aim assist. If they're not strafing while they're shooting, they're not going to see the full advantage of aim assists. They're not even going to see these things. So, like, for a good player will fucking notice. Like a really good player
with
with
that,
good aim, they'll fucking notice. But if it's they're still good players. So if you nerf it a little bit, the casuals won't recognize it, and the good players will adjust to it. I think it's pretty.
am I
It's a pretty
like?
simple fix.
Would that be my like? Would I be considered a semi competitive then?
Competitive. Like if you play like if you sweat while you're playing, like yeah, you're competitive. 100%. 100%. If you're like if you're one of those people, if you get pissed when you die and shit, you're probably competitive,
Yeah.
most likely.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, he got me, oh shit. Instead of like, fuck that dude, he's a bot. Wait till I respawn, bitch. Wait till I come back. I'm gonna find you. Right? It's a mentality thing, I think.
I just want to say, like, to me, like, yeah, I might get mad at tab strafers. Like, it's annoying most of the time, but I don't think that they should have taken that away, because not only does that give mouse and key the advantage, and you could go into a game where there's like 20 or like 10 mouse and key players or whatever, and like only a certain amount of controllers, like they're screwed. Especially if they're actually somewhat decent at movement. That gave controllers on PC like somewhat of an equal advantage. That's crazy to me that they would do that.
Well, yeah, if you're playing it's a really good mouse and key player and they know how to do movement and obviously shoot their guns, like
Yeah.
and let's say you're a controller player and you know how to shoot, but you can't duck and dive around corners, you can't wall bounce around corners, you can't do any of these mechanics. I would say you're at a disadvantage,
Yeah,
even with aim assist, right?
I would agree. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Because even if you are like, sorry, aim assist doesn't work so good to where if a guy's fucking tap strafing, fucking super gliding, wall bouncing,
Yeah.
your aim doesn't just stick to their bodies like that. You still have to maintain your aim while this guy's moving in all these crazy directions, while you're just kind of
Yeah.
upright, kind of maybe crouching and strafing back and forth. Like that's the most you can do.
Well, and like the problem that with that too is like most, if you're talking about casuals versus like the tap strafers, people don't have their settings high enough to where you can follow them really easily if they go over your head or whatever, right? So that's the problem that
What do you
I
mean?
have.
Say that again?
So like when people jump over your head, like they do a bunch of movements and then they jump over you, it is hard to follow them and shoot them, right? So I expect casual players have a problem with that.
Yeah, Casuals be happy that all movement is out of the fucking game. They would be happy that all.
That's why
I don't want
that's
that.
why
Personally.
I said, but I understand that, but that's why I say take away. So in order to level the playing field, right? Either take away tap strafing entirely, or give it to everybody.
Yeah, I don't want it taken away from everyone. I want everyone to
I
have
understand.
it,
Like that
including
would be the
console
worst.
players.
That would be the worst case scenario, right? But
Yeah.
at least it would still be fair, where nobody has it.
Well,
I mean, it was a glitch to begin with.
look at this firing range, right? there's a reason why they upgraded to this firing range. It's so people can practice all these crazy fucking movements. The super jumps, the super glides, the wall bounces, the tap strafe. They practice all this shit. That's what That's why they built it the way they built it. And then to all of a sudden take a function away from one input is fucking nuts. Because guess what? It affects the other fucking movements.
Yeah.
Right? It's harder to wall bounce now. We can't wall bounce like an M&K player can. Like this guy will explain. Let's just keep playing the video.
Okay.
But being able to tap strafe around this box, okay, I can't do that anymore. But than it is me to try to hit this dummy, because it is harder to aim on a stick than it is on a mouse. It is a less precise input. It is what it is. Is aim assist too strong? It might be. Yes. A lot of people think
that close
it is
for sure too strong.
I'm not going to say that it's not. It's definitely strong. Okay. But being able to tap strafe around this box, okay, I can't do that anymore. I am now a sitting duck in the wide open, and the best way for me to get cover is to slide and then run around. I lose so much momentum doing
that
this.
That gets you killed.
Okay? I'm basically walking as I come over my slide, compared to...
Imagine you're playing in really good lobbies, and how much of a disadvantage that is now. Against casual, you'll get away with shit. Like if someone can't shoot, right, you'll get away with it. But if someone's a really good shot, you're fucked.
Well, like the problem is too, like, okay, so I know that you've had this because I've heard you yell about it. Where like people like you think you're across the corner, around the corner, and they shoot you anyway, and it's through a fucking wall. So that corner,
that's decent.
Literally fucking gets you.
What? That's servers. That's your whatever you're paying or whatever the fuck. It's shit like that. That's not really the game as much.
Are you sure?
And that's the servers and your internet connection and all that shit. Teddy, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's something to do with that.
What's that? I wasn't even listening. My bad.
Where you're like around the corner, you're escaping, but you get shot when you're behind the corner. Like fuck, I was behind the corner. I fucking ate a bullet.
Some server shit, some network shit.
Yeah, I would think that more than.
But
else.
Still, I've gotten shot in the back because I was very close. Like I tried to hit cover, and I slid into it, and I was too late because my movement was slowed, or I couldn't get behind it fast enough. Right. So that is a high disadvantage.
Yeah.
Just
no offense, Ghost, but say like if you're in super like high quality lobbies, like and these guys are just fucking ping. They're just spraying, just shitting on you, right? And just trying to get around the corner. They can slide down a hill and hit a bat as you're sliding down the hill, but like you can't move that fast anymore, and you don't have the momentum to where you maintain your slide and your speed to keep moving as you're healing. Like that is 100% a disadvantage. Like if you slow down, then you have to stop, and then you have to try to hit a bat or maybe stop, jump, and then to hit a slide and hit a bat. Yeah.
Well, you saw like most of the embarrassing thing about some of my lobbies is that people stand still, so they'll just stand still and shoot. And so like I do have that advantage where I can do a little bit more movement than they like. Well, I do a lot more movement. I'm not gonna lie. I use Octane for God's sake, but that's the problem with most of my lobbies. It's like people stand still and they just shoot. With your guys' lobbies, it's much harder to maneuver around. Like I could be literally running away and trying to strafe away, and I'll get shot in the back, or I'll get shot in the side, or something like that, right? So it's much more harder to dodge the bullets in your guys' lobbies.
Yeah, the kids can shoot. They can shoot.
Yeah.
Not everyone.
Especially those.
There are guys who just fucking laser, and they beam from.
And let's be real, like there's people
distances.
who use tap strafing, but they sucked at like shooting. They sucked at shooting. I had like one time an Octane was like tap strafing, and freaking he couldn't hit a bullet. He couldn't hit a bullet.
Well.
Oh, that was fun.
There's going to be a big difference of why I understand the all-out ban of it now. Like, it makes a little bit more sense. I still want my tap strafing back, but there's like a straight-up all-out. Like, there's some problems
Yeah.
that they had to get rid of them because what these kids are doing is cheating. What these kids are doing. Hopefully, I think it's this video where this guy explains it. But here we go.
Okay.
The full speed swing that you get when you're tap strafing. So it is a massive downgrade for controller players. Yes, we have aim assist. It is good. Okay, maybe it does need tuning, but for us to just totally lose the only movement in the game that really just makes this game entirely way more fun is a pretty drastic thing to do. And I don't know if their intent is to completely remove that forever, or if it was just to settle down all of the crazy configurations that were coming through at the moment. Because obviously everybody's seen the video with the crazy jitter aim thing, like the 180s and the looting. And the guy made a crazy video showing off everything that was possible, and it was so broken. It was so blatantly the craziest version of cheating that you've ever seen. So it had to change.
So people were using configs to erase recoil, right? That's what jitter aim does for mouse and key players. It helps with recoil.
Yeah.
Right. And they were just having it where it would auto do that by itself. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The 180 thing he said, towards like your auto tap strafing, like if let's say you're about to run through a door and you see an enemy pop up, like, oh shit, someone's in there. You just hit one button and you automatically 180 and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Or octane pads, right? Or even any type of like jumping thing, like where you can just auto 180. Remember that shit where you're like, throw a pad down and practice going, like trying to hit pad over and over and over again. Where I had to like practice that over and over and over again. Like those guys just hit one button and it does it automatically for them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like, yeah, that is fucking crazy. The auto swapping, auto shield swap, right?
Really?
Yes, you just run next to the thing.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
You just hit a button and it swaps your armor.
Yeah, it swaps it. Yeah.
I have a question.
That's cheating to me. That's all that is cheating to me. What's up?
So, okay, so like with the whole tap strafing stuff, do you think that the reason why they restricted it on consoles is because it could mess with the frame rate?
I don't think it was blocked on purpose. I think it was something that wasn't even supposed to be in the game, as far as I understand. And then somebody figured it out with their in-game like button, whatever it's called, configs. I don't want to call it configs. What do you call it? Button, whatever, binding. They binded buttons a certain way, and they found there's like a broken mechanic you can do. And then controller players like, how the fuck? Wait a minute, we can't fucking bind our buttons. Well, you can go into Steam settings and bind your buttons, but apparently you can do a lot more, and that's where the problem came in. I think there'll still be people complaining anyways, but that's where like people started doing some crazy shit, which is crazy shit that's cheating in my mind. And then that's when they're like, ban them all, ban them all. The pitchforks came out from these fucking video game dweebs. I want to body slam some of these kids right now. Like, shut up. Just throw them in a locker and close it. But, yeah. Alright, here we go.
The video showing off everything that was possible, and it was so broken. It was so blatantly the craziest version of cheating that you've ever seen. So it had to change. But through my conversations today,
real quick, I didn't know that this many people, like legitimate players, were using the thing that I was doing with the tap strafing. I thought the way people said configs, I assumed that they meant what I was doing was the same thing as like what everyone like that's what configuring was what I was doing, but apparently not.
Yeah, there's more to it apparently.
Yeah.
I thought that was it when people said that too, but then I started seeing some of the other vids.
Yeah.
Like the armor swap machine. I was like, you can't do that shit through Steam, man.
Yeah. But yeah, there are people that good play, like pro player or whatever, they all consider legit using the same settings that I was doing, or a variation of the same settings I was using.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, so all right, here we go.
Yep.
a lot of people are in a place where they're kind of sympathetic with controller players in terms of tap strafing, right? Of the crazy configurations, tap strafing is one
What is
that
going on with your
it's not
microphone, Ghost?
crazy. It's not going to break the
Oh,
game.
what?
And if mouse and keys can do it, controllers probably should be able to do it.
If you were doing it on purpose, I
A
swear
lot
to
of
God,
people are in
Ghost,
that boat.
I will body
Okay.
slam.
No,
A
no,
lot
I
of
wasn't
people
doing
are
anything on
not in that
purpose.
boat.
Sorry.
They think
I will
that
body slam you.
anything that controller players can have that isn't aim assist is unfair because aim assist is too good, and if you have anything else, it's not fair. I think that
Those guys are dickheads. We need to ignore them and then just keep on.
Hmm.
Let's get tap strafing back for controller players. Those guys are idiots. We move past them. I don't care how many years they played the game, and I don't care how much money they made playing the game. Logically, in an argument, they'll look stupid. Because he's going to show you why it's stupid. Here we go.
that's a little bit of overkill because aim assist exists in the first place because it's the inferior input compared to a mouse.
That's a little
Maybe it
biased
is
there,
tuned.
but
Sure. But I would much rather have aim assist turn way down and be able to tap strafe than for it to be the other way around. So
agreed.
those are kind of my first thoughts. The next thing that I saw a lot was
Wait,
mouse
pause
and
it for a
key
sec.
players saying that
So they've disabled Steam completely or just W?
They disabled. I don't even know exactly what they did. Like my bind is still there. Like, I know it's still there because when I hit my when I hit L3, which is my left stick, when I push it in, it jumps. I jump, which
Oh,
means
okay.
that's still from
And
my
that's done
Steam
through
bind.
Steam.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But if I try to left or right tap strafe or backward set, it
Yeah.
will not work. So I don't know exactly what they did, but they somehow stopped that. Maybe they stopped everything. They stopped all of W, A, S, and D for Steam controllers, but left, something like spacebar. Right to jump. Maybe that's what happened. Because that's what it's bind to. It's bind to W in space, A in space, S in space, D in space. And that's how I was tap strafing.
So why not just remove the ability? I was gonna say so wait, how exactly are they? How'd they remove the ability to exec then? Because
To what?
if they to run auto exec, so I guess they're creating files and then using the auto exec command. Is that what he was saying?
I'm
Then
not
that's what he said at the start. They're using exec or something.
I'm not sure. In the very beginning of the video?
Yeah, was it him or the last guy? Because they're editing files for sure, so they must run exec. But if they disable the use of exec, right? I'm trying to figure out if they disabled the use of exec completely, like how they did it. Because if they did that, then they should have just disabled exec and then left tap strafing like WAC. Like what the fuck? Because the reason why they're getting the laser aim and the quick armor swaps is from editing files.
Yeah.
And the way those files run is if you run the exec command through Steam. So if they're disabling that entirely, then just disable that alone entirely. I don't know how they're doing it though. I mean,
that makes sense from what you said to me, but I don't understand it like that to say one way or another. But
yeah,
I mean,
no, it's like the Steam button input is one thing, and the ability to run the ability to have those files run when the game launches is done through another menu.
Okay.
It's done through something else. So why don't just disable that feature, right, to run those files, and then leave the controller input and shit.
Unless there's something else happening, like
I don't know.
When I did the WASD thing, right? I go into my Steam settings and I go into my controller configuration for Apex specifically, right?
Yeah.
Is it possible to do something within that type of menu that allows you to do some of this other crazy shit? If there is, then they would end up just disabling the entire thing, right? And then say, we'll figure it out later. Fuck you for now.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know enough about computers like that.
I don't know enough about how it's all set up. Like, the way they're, or what they banned and what they got rid of exactly. I don't fucking know. It's weird.
Well, they did it like by surprise too,
Because
right? So
yeah, because you can't run exec, and some of the Steam inputs work. Then why the fuck take out tap strafe? It doesn't. It makes zero fucking.
unless
Yeah.
it was on purpose, right? I see a lot of these pro
Nah.
players complaining about because they have
Yeah.
aim assist, they shouldn't be allowed to tap strafe.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're out here doing backflips. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
but you're winning close range gunfights. Like, you're winning all the other fights. Okay,
Yeah.
bud. Yeah. And guess what? A good player's gonna fucking beam you anyways, bro. Like a really good controller player, you lessen aim assist.
100%.
Verholz is gonna
Yeah.
master that shit, and he's gonna beam you anyways. It's like, do you just
Yeah.
want no aim assist completely? I bet Verholz might figure that shit out and beam you still. Like you don't
Yep.
know. Like I don't know. They should do more thinking than just. I mean, I would like because of what I've seen, like the cheating things I've seen with the configs. I understand like a blanket, like let's blanket get rid of this and then figure it out from square one, and then find out if we can find a way to allow certain things and not allow others. I'm fine with that. But they didn't really say that to anyone, right? They just kind of like, boom, boom, boom. It's gone now.
Yeah, like
there's a message they wrote that I'm gonna bring up later. I don't know if he brings it up in his video. I'll let you know if it's the one I saw, but I'll find it and bring it up, and then you can see from their words, from Respawn, their words of what they said.
okay. This was that tweet, right?
The tweet, yeah, it was a tweet.
Yeah, that one tweet. Yeah, I think I read that tweet. We can go over it again now.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Well, on mouse and keys, we're spending hours and hours honing in our skills, practicing these movement techs so that we can use them when we're playing. And sure, that's great, right? It might not be an easy skill to perform, but the thing is, you can do it, right?
Exactly.
You can come into the firing range,
bro. Like,
put in the work, and come out a better player because of it.
Just put in the time and learn that shit. You have nothing to bitch about. It's whatever.
Well, that's the thing. He's gonna grab his mouse and key that he doesn't play, and he's gonna do. It's not gonna be the greatest lurching tap strafe, amazing tap strafe you've ever seen in your life, but he just does it, right? He can do it.
Yeah.
It's about the same thing on controller. I didn't walk in day one on controllers and be like, wow, look at me, I could do backflips now.
Yeah.
Like, no, I had to fucking sit in that fucking firing range and practice and practice and
Yeah.
practice and practice. So I'm like, it's kind of the same thing. I'm binding my left stick to WASD and like a jump button. You're binding your scroll wheel to, what is it, like W in space or something like that? Or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just, you're just binding buttons, then you're learning how to like apply it in the game. Like, I think there's a skill gap for it, and there's a skill to do it. It isn't just automatic for controller players. So like, I think it's 1-to-1 actually, very much 1-to-1.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they seriously just listening to Twitter? Because most of the comments underneath this Respawn thing talking about that.
Is it the long couple paragraphs, Ghost? Is that what you're looking at?
Today's Apex patch includes a number of fixes. They also include the fix from the exec command and the config files. People are saying W win. This is an Apex I like to be a part of. Like, they're all saying win.
Well, we'll get to all that. I'll bring up the tweet itself actually later, and then we can...
So there's something else.
We'll go over.
There are
the
two different tweets. There are two different tweets.
Okay, I only read one.
We'll go over the tweets. We'll bring
yeah.
I just want to get through this first because he makes a point that I'm biased and I agree with. Here we go. As a controller player,
put in the work and come out a better player because of it. We don't have that option on controllers.
Like it's the same shit with
wall bounce. That is
slide canceling in COD. Like, why'd they remove slide canceling?
The only thing that we
no one
have,
knows.
And we can't even do it off small objects like you guys can because we can't change up our directional input that quickly.
I'm sure it was for probably the same reason.
To lessen the skill gap, to shrink it. That's what I think those type of things do. To where you can have, as Ghost was saying, casuals come in here and feel good about themselves when they play. They get like, look, see, like they get those endorphins. they don't feel as bad when fucking Z-Laner comes around a corner, like slide canceling his ass off, dumps on you, teabags your body, and then thirsts you and walks away.
Yeah.
Then does the same thing to your teammates. Like, no one wants to play like
it's
skill-based matchmaking, all that shit. It's for those reasons, man.
Yeah, like
Okay.
COD never used to have all that shit. The slide canceling and whatnot. COD never had that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But Apex has been like that. And you're like,
So Teddy,
that's the game. Like fucking, just learn.
I
it. Why
posted
take
that
out?
tweet for you to read.
I'm gonna go over it, guys,
Where?
on here.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
see it after.
Let's get a full reaction to it.
I know. I just posted it so Teddy could follow along.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There we go.
Can't change up our directional input that quickly.
He's talking about
so
wall
it's
bouncing on
just-
smaller
it's tough to
objects.
accept
Like, we
that
can't
the
turn our
only movement
thumbs,
that we
our
had
direction that fast.
is gone. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't think that
Same
any
thing with
of
just
the other
normal wall
movement
bouncing.
or
It's
the
more
other
difficult.
Crazy configs that existed.
Let's say I put my
were fair.
sense
I
to
think that those were
fucking
cheating. Absolutely.
100 out of
The
100,
tab strafing,
really.
I don't really think that
Yeah.
falls into that category. So I hope that changes in the future. I was on my mouse and key, or I was on my controller before. Okay. I'm gonna switch to my mouse and keys now, and just try out tab strafing. Okay. So mouse and keys, I don't use them. I bought my controller. It would be, or not my controller, my computer about a year and 2 months ago.
Boot.
I think something like that.
Mm.
And since I got it, the first month, I probably spent a week of it trying to use mouse and keys. I don't think I would have done any more than that because it was very evident to me that I much prefer playing with my controller. I like coming back here, sitting back here, having my controller in hands, take a nice relaxed
That's right.
stance.
Big dick in your
Everything's in my
hand.
hands. I'm not reaching
Chilling.
out. I'm not doing all these different things. I just get to be comfortable and play
Love
my
dicks
game.
in your hand. Oh, you
And
guys
that
are
is
used
the
to
way I
that
like to play
position
games. I
and
don't enjoy
Oh,
the
yeah.
mouse and
holding
keys,
shit in
so
your
I
hand
just-
like that.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
The reason I'm saying this
Yeah.
Controller
is
delight.
it's probably been a few months since I used mouse and keys. Okay. And I'm going to try to tap strafe. Okay. I bound forward to my scroll wheel. As you can see, it's inching me forward. I have E as my crouch. That's probably a weird thing to do, but that's what I have it on. And I'm going to run around here and try to tap strafe. Okay. So, a lot of people
That's
call it a skill
basically the
issue.
tap strafe input. Just
I don't
scroll
think
up.
that's a fair argument whatsoever. So if I'm in here and
Okay. So it's basically hitting forward. Like, imagine like you have the
Yeah.
fastest fingers in the world, and you're hitting forward like really fast, like rapidly fast.
Yeah.
Like
gonna do the same
frame
shit.
perfectly fast. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
and it's like, what's the difference between that and me on Steam binding my forward button with an extra forward to it?
Yeah.
It's the same
There's
thing.
no difference. This is what I'm saying. Like, I really don't get that part right there. I need to see what else they wrote.
Yeah, we'll look at their tweets. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm actually just gonna shut up for a second and try to do it. So I'm gonna slide, jump, move, and it's already done. Okay, now I messed up that one. Slide, jump, left. Man, like it's so easy. Okay, that was a bad one. Slide.
It's so easy.
So
All right, I fucked
yeah.
that one up.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there is a skill. You have to learn how to do it. Like
Yeah,
when I first had it,
exactly.
I was like, what the fuck? Like I didn't know what I was doing. And then
Yeah.
it took me like kind of weeks to be like just comfortable without thinking about it doing it. And then you start learning how to move on pads and all that shit. And like, all right, let me ask you a question, Teddy. How do you, when you do like, I think they're called super jumps, like off a zip line, right? Where you just like kind of shoot straight up into the air.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Do you hit space twice?
No, I just hit space once. Well, I use scroll down for space, both space, but you can do the same shit.
Okay. Because I was like looking up videos originally to learn how to do that. And I did it like a couple, like 1 out of 5, not even 1 out of 5, like 1 out of 10 I would do, where I'd be like just try to double tap jump really quickly, like with my paddle, like hit jump twice. And I'm like, oh shit, I did it. But then it's so hard to do it consistently. But then I use my tap strafe button where it's like jump, right, really quickly.
Yeah.
Kind of frame perfectly, and then I'd do it automatically every single time. But I'm like, if that's the same thing mouse and key players are doing as well for their super jumps, it's like I don't have a problem with it.
That's not the key to those. Is there's a slight window, but you can make this window if you don't really have to try your hardest to be quick, but there's a window from the time you interact with it and when you jump. So you need to interact with it first, then right after jump. And then you'll hit it every single time. You'll never miss. That's the key to that. You have to interact with it first, then jump.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It isn't jump. It's interact jump.
Yeah,
you're
interact
right.
and jump. Yeah.
But it'd be like there's like a certain timing to it, a certain speed you had to do it then, and
to get like a good one, yeah. And to like move out of it type deal, like be able to tap strafe out of it and all that shit.
Yeah.
Have momentum, yeah.
So, but it's still, for me, was bindable to do. Like I just hit interact and my left stick and kind of damn near simultaneously, and it would do that.
Yeah.
Like every time.
Yeah.
Without fail. So, but like I don't have a problem with that. Like, but whatever. I'm just trying to make a comparison, just to talk about like bindings and versus these Steam inputs, and just to show like people who are just playing normal and right, like this guy probably was, or Ecstasy, or the way I was playing, like mouse and key players shouldn't be so afraid of that. It's still like we don't all of a sudden become gods at the game, like just because we have those Steam inputs. It's the fucking the cheating motherfuckers are the real ones to worry about. So I think Apex players should actually take a look and consider that, so that they don't just leave like good players behind because they're so mad at certain cheaters, or think that everyone who has these Steam inputs is doing the cheating shit, because they're not. Clearly, they're not. So, say be fair, man, and don't be some pompous ex-pro asshole. Yeah, for some reason I'm thinking of his Watson. If I had to guess, like something tells me that guy would be thinking some shit like that, but I don't know. I don't know him, right? But something tells me he'd be like, "Oh yeah, well you have aim assist, so it's like it's basically cheating." I'm like, dude, I will body slam you. There's nothing you can do about it either. Like, there's nothing you can do. Like, I will sit. Like, I will use you as my stool. I will sit on you as I play Apex on controller. Like, but threats aren't a nice thing. You can't do shit like that. But it'd be funny. All right. So let's go to. So what is it? Respawn, right? On Twitter, on X.
Yeah.
Let's look at their tweets.
X.
Okay. So this is right. This one would be it. This is the original one.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the one.
Look at the comments below it, though, dude.
I'll get to that.
Like people calling each other cheaters and people praising what they did.
Well, to be honest with you, like maybe we'll see, like how prevalent these things were. The cheating version of configs. Like, I guess we'll see how prevalent it was based on like the more games we play. But to me, like in my mind, I'm like I didn't even think it was that much of a thing. Maybe I wasn't playing in the best lobbies to where these guys are hiding at. But when I play to this day, I still see motherfuckers, fucking tap strafing all in my face, even with it disabled. So I'm like, okay, there's a lot of mouse and key players that are using Octane and playing like fucking Lemonhead. Got it. Like I still see those guys in my lobbies when I play. So, like, I don't know. Like that's why I'm like, yeah, they're all gone. Like, no, there's plenty of people still doing that shit. It seems like the same amount of people almost. But once again, we need to, as time goes by, we'll see how many people are actually like cheating version of using these things, where they're just hitting one button, 180 tap strafing, and they just spam it and spam it and spam it. And it looks like there's fucking strafing all in place, and neo strafing and super gliding into a neo strafe, like all that crazy shit. But all right, let me read this. Heads up, Legends, we've been rolling out some changes to, I guess that means Apex, to better protect the game's competitive integrity. We are making changes to remove automated strafing on controller, the the shit that I had was not automated strafing. You can't just hit the button, you automatically start tap strafing. It's like, no, you have to be moving in directions, just like mouse and key. You have to be moving in a direction. You have to turn into a direction, just like mouse and key with your scroll wheel. Like, it's the same thing. Okay, automated strafing on controller, unless they're talking about something else. And we'll also be making changes to prevent the chaining of config files, which I think is the cheating thing, via the exec command during game time. And that's the thing you were talking about, Teddy. Right?
Yeah, that's how you load up.
Okay.
Like, yeah, CFG.
In other words, we are disabling the ability to use some configs that would allow for a greater range of movement than is usually possible within the game. So, like, this seems like a get on your knees and suck the cocks of fucking M&K players that are complaining about this shit.
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
They said some configs. So exec isn't completely removed. Okay. Because I was thinking if they remove exec, because there's people that modify their files and shit to make the game run better, as in like improve FPS and shit. So I was wondering how they're going to do that. So they didn't completely remove exec command.
If you
So
look at
maybe
the
that's why they
comments below,
removed W as well. Maybe
you
'cause
can
they
tell
feel
that most mouse and key encourage this whole thing too. Like they were saying that people well, look at the comments.
The first thing I see is Hal. He plays on controller now, and if we gave him the same settings I had with the Steam inputs, he wouldn't know what to do for the first like several weeks. And he's a great player, right? He's a great player, but he'd be like, "Wait, I don't know how to do that. Like, what am I doing here? I don't know how to do it." Like, you'd have to grind it and learn how to fucking do all that shit. Like, seriously, you know, he's a great player. He'll learn it faster than I learned it, most likely. But still, you would have to learn it. It isn't just automatic. So, but he's cheering. If I had to guess, him cheering is because he doesn't do it himself. Like, he's not a movement character. He was not a movement player on fucking mouse and key, was he? I don't think he's a movement guy. I think he's like I'll outflank you or something, or I'll hit a certain rotation that will fuck your team up, and we'll catch you in the storm and kill you. He seems more like that type of player than he fucking kills people, right, in pubs and in ranked and shit. He destroys people, but that's more likely because of his aim. Like, his aim is fucking amazing on both inputs.
Which Otter also said huge win. You know who that is, right?
Yeah, I've seen some of his videos. I don't really know him, though. I've seen some of his videos. I'm relatively new to Apex, but I'm sorry, logic is logic. I don't care how many fucking gaming pros you throw in front of me. The logic still holds up. Like, sorry, I'm not going to lose on that argument with that. Just because you played more or you're better at the game, like, the logic still has to hold up for me. And it's not holding up as far as, like, the difference here. I agree more with what Sweet was saying, who's also an Apex pro, who's also who is a mouse and key player. He's like, well, are you gonna disable it for everyone else? Who can, like, now only half the lobbies are doing backflips instead of
maybe not.
Guys.
Look at the comment section, because there's some really fucking disgusting shit in here. God, you're looking so submissive and breedable right now. That was a comment on that freaking tweet. Oh,
okay. Shit like that. But
yeah, no, everybody like underneath it is like, oh yeah, we've wanted this for so long. Community win.
Well, they're gonna run into a not so nice surprise because like legitimate players who aren't doing it, like obviously the ones who are just where they're using it to cheat, right? They're gonna get worse and all that shit. Not saying they're all bad players, but they're gonna drop down as far as what they were doing before with all those fucking inputs in there. But for the main portion, like, controller players are still gonna, like, if they're a good player, they're still gonna beam you without their fucking tap strafing. Like, it is what it is. That was just an extra thing for fun, for moving around, right? That's just fun, but also for certain like little minute like defensive and offensive maneuverings to get yourself in positions to fuck people up. Like, that was the main like thing to it, and it's like, taking that away is kind of crazy, but those guys will still find ways to beam you. Like, they're really good controller, but they'll still beam you. So, like, I hope it's not a bunch of casuals. I hope it's, I don't know. I don't understand what they're complaining about. unless they're just saying the cheating portion. That I understand. I understand
It
that
looks
part.
like most of these are about cheating, right? So like there are people who are bringing up the cheating and saying that it needed to stop a while ago, but the tap strafing and the super gliding, yeah, that's a little different.
Well,
And but
super
like even
gliding,
people
we do super gliding without like whenever I do sometimes hit a fucking super glide, it has nothing to do with the Steam inputs at all.
yeah.
That's just
Well, like
timing your slide and jump button together. That's all it is.
so the guys like so there's actually somebody who brought this up. He said Ferox, tap strafing and super gliding have always been exploits, which is true by definition.
Yeah, it's exploits.
And
Yeah.
the guy under it said super gliding isn't an exploit. It's you perfectly timing pressing two buttons. And then like they're literally
Yeah,
going
but
after him for
you're trying to. It's the same thing as like that dude would do in Elden Ring, where he'd like warp across the map. He'd find a frame perfect moment to hit the correct buttons to warp himself across the map. That's kind of what super gliding is. It's not. I don't think it's built into the game. It's an exploit. It is. So is tap strafing itself. I would think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Teddy. Isn't that the case? It's kind of like an exploit.
Tap strafing, yeah, kind of is.
Like it wasn't built in. Like they weren't like, man, we can't wait for
Yeah.
to see these kids all tap strafe.
No, all these things were discovered. Yeah, they're
Right.
like something to do with the engine.
And it's the same thing with super gliding, right? To where
Yeah.
it's like you're just finding a frame
Yeah.
perfect moment to fucking
Yeah.
hit the correct buttons to super glide. It's an exploit.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish this fucking tweet up.
okay.
We want to be clear. The use of third-party tools, hardware, firmware, or software that automates game mechanics for a competitive edge over other Apex players is considered cheating and is unacceptable. Now, if they mean the Steam fucking inputs, the shit I had, then they're saying like, well, we don't like third-party tools to do all these things, but we like our tools to do all these things. We like our in-game settings to do all these things. So like as long as they exclude the shit, like guys like Ecstasy and the video we were just watching. Jodeci, the R&B singer, and the shit I was doing, if they exclude that from this discussion, third-party tools of hardware, firmware, or like automated game mechanics and shit like that, the competitive edge, if they're talking about the shit I do, they can go fuck themselves with a big dick, with a big one.
Yeah.
They can go fuck themselves if they're including that. If they just mean like the crazy shit, the one button swap armor, all that crazy shit, then yeah, I would agree with it.
When they say automated strafing, when they say automated strafing, they said that before they mentioned CFG files, because they said automated strafing. Then they went on to say, we'll also be making changes to prevent the chaining of CFG files via the. So I guess, because I was gonna say, like, since they mentioned automated strafing before they mentioned the CFG files, then they probably are talking about the Steam input. But
Then they're trash. Like, what do you want to
yeah,
do? There's a difference between like an ape. Like, okay, let's say we're playing Call of Duty, right? And usually in Call of Duty,
Yeah.
when I'm shooting, right, and then I'll try to bunny hop at the end of me shooting just to like move my head as a target, right, so they don't hit any fucking headshots.
yeah,
Now, if I change my button configuration to where my L1 button jumps for me, so that's like it's easier for me to hit the L1 button when I jump at the end of my shooting, that's not a big deal. But if I have automatic bunny hops at the end of my shot, like automatically built in, that would be cheating. Do we see the difference? And it's like, hey, Respawn, do you see that difference?
They know.
Like they have
They
to
see
know,
it.
right?
Yeah, they fucking know.
They're pleasing these idiots. No offense to like, the greatest pro players of all my lifetime. You play fucking video games for a living. Shut the fuck up. Let me have some fun. Like I get it, but this shit's not even anywhere near their arena anyways. If they're mad they're losing in fucking ranked or something, like I get it with the cheating part, but just for like normal players that are using it just to have the same abilities as everyone else in
Yeah.
the fucking lobby, like they're not cheating and they're just doing it because A, it's fun, and B, it makes it more competitive in my opinion. It really
Yeah.
does.
They're still complaining about aim
Yeah.
assist too after this, so we may actually get an aim assist nerf too.
I don't mind that. I don't mind the aim assist nerf. I'll take that all day. Let me be able to fucking sneak around a corner and
I'm
heal
sorry to
and
say
bunny
this,
hop and slide and shit. Like
the majority of their player base will be gone. I
I
hate
don't
to
know.
say it.
I,
It seems like they just want this game as a mouse and keyboard game. So
I don't know about that, but I think enough M&K players that are high profile have complained enough, and let's be honest, these companies listen to them.
Yep.
They did,
Yeah.
and that's what seems to have happened.
well, and
Now, is
like
there
I said,
another tweet from?
I stick to what I said before too. Is like there's a gap. Like people who have mouse and key and people who are on controller, they don't speak to each other. They don't care about each other. So that's the problem. This game will
Say
always
that
be
again.
unfair.
Say that again.
So what I said is mouse and key and professionals and controller and casuals do not speak. They don't communicate. There's no equal footing here. That's the problem. Is that like if people if they understood the things that were going on with controller, or they understood that, or controller would understand what's going on with keyboard, maybe there would be a little bit more of an understanding, right?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know. Like, well, you have a guy like who was using them, right? Ecstasy, who I guess is somewhat high profile. Like right?
I know who
These pros know who he is, right? I would hope. I would think.
Yeah.
And do they like him? Are they cool with him? Do they play with him? I don't know those. Do you know Teddy at all? If they
I have no clue, man.
because if they don't and they like, oh, stay away from guys like that. If it's like that, some weird shit. Like, is it because maybe he shit on you once or something? Like he 1v3'd you fuckers with his movement? Like, did you say anything to Fade? Has Fade fucking shit on you before? And you're like, oh fuck, that's Fade. Where he makes a compilation killing streamers, right?
I got a feeling it's not that. I think it's like, to me, maybe it was a casual. So like, there's something else that people need to understand too is like if a professional or semi-competitive person gets killed by a random Taft strafer, that's a hit to an ego. A lot of these guys have egos.
Well, what if they're just, like,
so
let's be honest, guys. A lot of these players, like, guess what? I know Fade's disgusting, but guess what? There's other disgusting players out there. Just because they don't have a YouTube channel with a check mark next to their name doesn't mean they're devoid of talent, bro. They could be as good, maybe better. Who knows? There could be motherfuckers out there who are just fucking savages, and they're like, "Well, wait a minute. Remember the video I showed you, Teddy, where it's like, where the war zone, they're like, oh, that got cheating. No, that was Breadman. Oh, it was Breadman. Yeah, Breadman's so
exactly.
talented. They might do that with these guys who are just nasty. They get destroyed by them, and they're like, I don't know your name, cheater.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
I've literally seen professional compilations of them getting people banned for cheating that were not cheating, and they were just a better move. They had better movement. That's the problem. Is that these players, and that's something else too. Is like these players have people at Apex on tap, so they'll be able to tweet them and say, "Hey, this player's cheating.
True.
Ban him." And they'll automatically ban them. So if they get destroyed by a player, half of them probably assume that they're cheating, and they'll fucking get them banned. It's kind of it's unbalanced, to be honest.
I think that's
it bothers
possible.
me.
And I don't think it's as egregious as Warzone. Like Tin Tatman would literally in his live stream have someone from Activision watching his streams, and he'd be like, "Yo, that guy's cheating," and that guy would get banned instantly in the fucking game. In fact, Tim could hold them off. Like, no, don't ban him yet. I want to see this. And they would watch him for a while. All right, he's about to win. Now ban him. And they would ban him. And I'm like, this is some childish garbage. Like this is
Yeah.
not a competitive game at all. This is a fucking joke.
Well, like the same with
So it's not as
Ninja. Like
egregious as
Ninja,
that, but you know.
Ninja and Fortnite, right? So like Ninja was getting his ass handed to him in a game in Fortnite. He was telling people, "Oh yeah, the guy's cheating or he's watching my stream or something," and he was just getting frustrated. I'm like, dude, the guy probably is better than you. Stop bitching. There's people that are better than you. You don't. It's a hit to your ego. I understand this, but you don't need to ban them.
No,
Are you sure that they're cheating? Because it takes a lot of analysis to actually prove people are cheating too.
that is true, and we need something better because guess what? There are cheaters out there.
Yeah.
There are cheaters who stream snipe.
Absolutely.
100%. There's just straight up stream snipers. These things all exist. So let's be honest. We need a better system of how to deal with this because both sides will have points. Because he's a famous guy. He's going to get stream sniped. Some of them are going to be cheaters, or there could just be a straight up just cheater in the lobby. Period. Just out there beating everyone.
Yeah, but it also could be a regular guy that's beating his ass, right?
Yeah.
There's somebody that actually has better movement and better skill than him, and that just beamed him. Like it's there's a gap. There's a huge freaking gap. A lot of us common players don't have the voice that these guys do.
That is true. That is very true. And once again, with the Warzone example I explained, where they thought some guy was cheating, but it ended up being a famous streamer, and they're like, no, he's not cheating. He's a really good player. Same thing happened with Fade. Fade shit on one of these pro players, right, with his made-up name. He puts like config in his fucking clan tag and all that shit. And he shits on someone. And then this guy goes to Twitter. He's like, you need to get rid of these fucking config fucking players. Meanwhile, it's just Fade on mouse and key doing all this crazy movement, shitting on them. And it's like, well, what do you kind of, that things, events like that that's where logic comes in. And that's why I can't believe some of these dipshit players. Yes, you're good at Apex, but you could still be an idiot. I'm sorry. If let's say Fade wasn't famous, right? And he wasn't streaming, and he did some shit to you in a game, just murked your shit by using movement that you haven't even fucking seen before. These guys would be reporting him for configging. Like, most likely. And, but, you know, once at the end of the day, like, oh, it's Fade? Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. Fade shit on me. It's like a good time now all of a sudden. When before they're about to cry their little fucking eyes out.
Yeah.
All right. I guess this is the newest tweet. Or the most recent one. Today's Play Apex patch includes a number of fixes, including the final ring will now close when playing 3 strikes matches on Stormpoint. I guess that was broken. You can no longer chain config files via the exec command during game time.
What does that even mean?
During game time? You mean like when you're in game?
During game time. Wait, you can no longer during game time.
Yeah, I don't even know what that meant. Well, I didn't know.
I mean, I Is that how you Is that how you chain them?
Oh, are you saying like they open
Is that
the
how
game?
the chain or whatever works? Yeah, I don't know how the chain or whatever works. This chaining thing, chaining exec files. I don't know how that works. But maybe that has to do some with it. Maybe the game has to be running for you to chain exec. I don't fucking know. Maybe that's what they mean.
Wait,
to do this chaining, whatever this chaining technique is, I don't know what you have to do to quote unquote chain.
Weren't you saying that the all right, is this exec command thing different than changing your inputs on Steam? Is it different, or
yeah, it's like a different menu. So if you go to launch options for Apex, it's in the launch options menu, so it's in a different menu entirely.
So then the thing is it is on purpose. The thing that I was doing, they got rid of on purpose because they're putting it in a category of cheating, basically.
Yeah.
Fuck my life, bro. These fucking
Yeah.
dweebs, bro. These fucking dorks.
Some strange reason.
Holy shit, these. I'm not trying to be like an asshole, but I'm gonna be a jock asshole. Where it's like, bro, go play competitive sports, man. Like learn that shit, and then, cause you can. I don't know, man. It's like a like oh me oh my, I lost a gunfight, and the thing that I'm good at, I lost a gunfight in it. Something must be wrong. Who's cheating? They must be cheating. It's like, come on, man. Or you can't hit them the way you normally do because they're moving around. Like, I can't just like fucking beam them like I normally do. So thus, fuck, cheater.
Yeah.
My shot should be hitting them. They're cheating. Oh man. Because guess what? Someone's gonna. Let's say, not that I did this, but let's say they put back just the thing that I was doing, or ecstasy was like that type of shit, and someone's gonna figure out some fade shit, right? To where they start doing all out crazy movement, like actually skilled, right? Because not everyone can do it. Like they learned, they practiced, they learned how to fucking do it. They're gonna do some crazy shit, and it's gonna be like, do you just call that guy a cheater?
Yeah.
But then you have to call Fade a cheater too. Like literally, you have to call them both. Like they'd both be considered cheaters. But yeah,
Exactly.
or let's say some of the other things that people are like, obviously not the shield swap, because that's just straight up, right? One button, you swap shield. That's fucking stupid.
Kind of ridiculous, yeah.
But if there was some version of jitter aim for controller players, would that be cheating? If someone figured out how to do it in game, like just hypothetically, it's like no, right? Because it's some sort of skill they learned how to do inside the game without adding anything. They just learned how to do it.
Yeah.
This is why I asked that question yesterday about the turning the C button upside down, your crouch button, turning it upside down so that you can super glide easier. Because it's more responsive. I guess the key's like pushed up a little bit more, so it's more responsive when you hit it. And it's like, is that cheating? It's third party technically. It's outside the game, isn't it? Is that cheating? Like, did you just open Pandora's box, kind of like these questions?
I got a question.
What's up?
So there's a post underneath this tweet that I just found that kind of makes sense, right? So happy with that. In consequence, you should also ban mouse and keyboard binding any keys to the scroll wheel, because it's the same as binding keyboard inputs without anything else to controller buttons. Somebody brings this up. Somebody says underneath them is in-game function. They're claiming it's an in-game function. It's not an external script. Why pad players have this problem? You have ducking AA, which is aim assist. Stop crying for nothing.
See, that's a good tweet to bring up, or whatever the guy said. Like thank you for bringing that up, because they're like, well, it's in the game. Like these are like technicalities instead of like the actual. See how logic is broken there? It's like, what if I just take those same mouse and key options but put them on Steam? The exact same options, just on Steam instead of inside the game. Are they now cheating? Even though you've been doing them for years, no one considers them cheating. It's all fine, but if you like, these are idiots. I'm telling you, these are dumb people. They're all over the place, by the way, in all different categories. But this is Apex. This is Apex's version of a dipshit. I'm telling you right now.
And like, he like, okay, so I'll also there's a reply to that, and actually he was right. He did exactly what you just said. And you have jitter aiming, neo strafing, now tap strafing, the most broken thing in Apex, moving while looting, reloading on doors, on down teammates, on zip lines. Should I go on? But yes, we have aim assist. Why? Because aiming with a controller is fucking hard. It is. Very hard.
It's not very hard. There's a skill gap. Like with all these things, there's a skill gap for it, and that's all you want from a competitive game is skill gaps, so that the best are the best, and the not as good are not as good. Like that's all you would want. Now with the settings I had, there's a skill gap for them. Yeah. Like it's not just like everyone on planet Earth can now do this. Not like the automatic jitter aim, the automatic looting boxes, the automatic fucking tap strafing, the neo strafe, the automatic fucking super gliding. Like those are automatic things. You just press a button, it does it for you. Like, that's different than the skill gap shit where you learn how to, like, there's a learning gap. That's what makes it competitive. Holy shit, man.
So yeah, that was a good reply by him. I have to say, but yeah, no, like it. There's gonna be like people are saying that it's the end of Apex, like Teddy was saying. Mouse and keyboard players are saying it's a win and that it's just the beginning.
Well,
so
yeah, pro players probably in general are saying it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because they're not allowed to do it anyways. So.
And I gotta bet, I got a feeling that like if another like player comes about and starts whipping their ass more, or people start using sniper rifles majority because they can't win against tab strafers, they're gonna complain about that, and a bunch of sniper rifles gonna get nerfed, and it seems like a never-ending pile of shit if you really want to break it down. I hate to freaking say it, dude. Like, this is just gonna tumble into something out of control.
It's it's the most controversial thing in gaming, the input bias. Because guess what? Like, as much as an MNK like in a close range 1v1 style fight thing happening, right? To where they got like, fuck, I gotta do all this shit to fucking not die and survive. It's like, guess what? Controller players are doing that as well. Yes, they have aim assist. There's an advantage there with the aim assist, but they can't, if they sit still. Do you think fucking his Watson's not gonna fucking destroy you in a close range fight? If you just sit still and try to shoot this guy as he's moving back and forth and strafing and ducking and all that shit, you don't think he's gonna beam? He's gonna beam you if you're just sitting still. So guess what? You have to move too. When you have to move too, then your centering's gonna be off a little bit more, which means you have to fucking keep your aim on the guy as you're strafing. And then it's like, wait a minute, you can't just be upright. Because if you're just upright, your body's staying on one certain plane, and they're gonna fucking beam you there. So you got to keep ducking and strafing. Like, you have to learn all these little things. Now, can aim assist be nerfed? I'm with it. I'm with it, man. But if you take away such a large portion of the game from the controller players, it's not just tap strafing. People think it's just like, oh, you just want to be able to duck around corners really quickly. Like, it's not just that. It affects your wall bounce. It affects your super glide. It affects all of it. I can't fucking do a simple wall bounce just to get over a wall, right? Like, quickly, instead of like sitting there and taking a long ass time trying to climb it as an Octane, right? Like, this long ass fucking animation of climbing a wall where I'm just getting beamed to my back as I'm doing it, right? Like, I want to be able to move up over the wall really quick. Like, it's so much more than just tap strafing. It is so much more. You want, like, that thing is like the foundation of all these other fucking movements. Honestly, they really are. And it's unfortunate. And whatever the guy's celebrating, I don't think they understand what the fuck's happening. They haven't tried it themselves. They haven't worked on it themselves. Once again, Hal plays controller now. If I gave him my tap strafe settings, he wouldn't know what to do. It would take him time, right? Skill gap, time and practice to learn how to use it. Unless he's done it before. So it's like, what are we talking about at that point? Like, one of the best players in the world has to learn how to do this shit from scratch. Like, oh, that sounds like there's a skill gap there. But if I tell him like he can just automatically fucking no recoil, just hit this button, there's no recoil. That's different. It's obvious on its face. But we're going in circles at this point because my argument's just the same. It's gonna be the same thing. Any final thoughts from either one of you two?
No.
No, we're good.
So with that, I want you to like and subscribe this. No, just fuck out of here. Yeah, that's it. Like and subscribe.